Today we're going to take a look at the next Emblem Hero banner, and it is for none other than Celica herself. So Celica, Valencia fans, you guys are winning right now, and she was expected to definitely be one of the candidates, sooner rather than later, because she is one of the earlier Engage or Emblem Heroes you can recruit in Fire Emblem Engage, and she's a really good one at that because she comes with Warp Ragnarok, and that's what they're trying to emulate here in FEH with her stuff, and she also comes with a really strong Emblem effect with Warp Ragnarok properties, so that's amazing. And this is the first blue mage infantry Celica, I believe. I think Celica's had every other color except for blue. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is the first blue Celica. So for Celica enjoyers or Valencia enjoyers, you finally have a blue Celica, which is nice. Must be nice because Marth still doesn't have a blue version. I really hope for a blue Marth someday. But yeah, Celica gets her blue mage version. And her art's amazing. Asatani Tomoyo is one of the best artists in FEH, one of the best in the business in my opinion, and consistently draws some of the best art. That's why they've drawn for so many characters in this game. And ever since Emblem Marth released, which wasn't that long ago, it's only earlier this year, every single Emblem hero so far, there's only 3 obviously, but all of them have had amazing art as expected. They've all had gorgeous, just jaw-dropping beautiful art, and Celica is no exception. So yeah, so Celica is here, and she is going to be a very, very strong blue mage, and is going to be able to bring some cheese to the table because she has Warp Ragnarok and can also give that to her allies to a degree. So here she is attacking Vale, and let's check out her kit. Carrying Magic is her weapon, -1 cooldown, and this description is not very long, which I appreciate. So, if unit initiates combat is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack speed +6 to unit, and grants further bonus to your attack and speed equal to 20% of your speed at the start of combat, so that's visible speed, I believe, and also deals true damage equal to 20% of your speed, excluding AoEs, and also has low speed res, so it's going to be really, really hard to outspeed her because she gets a lot of speed, more speed based on her speed, true damage based on her speed, and also negates your speed if you have buffs. So that's really good. And then also grants special cooldown count -1 to unit before unit's first follow-up attack during combat. So that's the special jumping. It's only -1, but still that's really good because Warp Ragnarok here, as you can see, is only 2 cooldown, and you have -1 cooldown already. And then if unit initiates combat, unit can make a follow-up attack before foe's next attack. So I believe that is Desperation, right? Yeah, that should be like Desperation, right? Because, yeah, before foe. Actually, wait, hold up. I think Desperation is different. Desperation says before foe can counterattack, and this one says unit can make a follow-up attack before foe's next attack. So that's a little bit different, but it's similar, I think. Because Emblem Marth has Dive Bomb / Desperation in his weapon. So I think this works pretty similarly. I could be wrong, but Celica's just going to be able to swoop in and be very, very fast and get those follow-up attacks, and also trigger her special pretty easily. So yeah, that is her weapon. I like how it's a shorter description, like I said, but she's going to have a longer one later. Warp Ragnarok is her signature special and her signature thing in Engage, which in Engage, it lets you move 10 spaces. But obviously in FEH, maps are smaller, so 10 spaces would be a little too much, but it's still really good. So the first part boosts special damage by 25% of your attack, which is good, but it's not that high of a boost, honestly. But I mean, considering that she's a really modern unit, and she's going to have a really high attack, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, 25% of your attack is still pretty good for a unit like her, but I think that's weaker than Draconic Aura, which is what, 30% of your attack, I believe. So it's a little bit weaker, but obviously it's going to be better because it has more stuff going for it. But yeah, the next part, this is the crazy part to me. So unit can move through foe spaces. This might not seem like a big deal, but this is huge because this is essentially pass built into the special, and no one can get this special besides her. And pass is a cheese skill in FEH. It's not a common skill because it's not very good most of the time. Pass is usually used. Most of the time when I use pass, it's for, hero merit grinding, when I need to pass through opponents to try to beat the map very fast, But, I mean, I've seen pass sometimes in, like, 8th raids maps if people are trying to cheese a little bit, but pass is not seen very much, and it's not even a seal for good reason because it would be a really cheesy skill. But now that we have Warp Ragnarok, giving Celica pass is huge because now your team is not going to be able to be covered and protected as easily because she can just move through the space as as no one was there. Like, she can just act like you're not even there. Which you might be thinking, okay, well, anti-warping, we have that, right? Well, yes, we do. We have a good amount of anti-warping, which is good because it's going to stop this part for each foe within 6 spaces of unit. Unit can move to the nearest spaces that are 2 spaces away from that foe, unless that space is impassable terrain, right? So you can't use like oath skills when there's stuff like Valentine Myrrh and Gatekeeper. So it's all good in that department, right? Because we do have, like I said, a good amount of anti-warping. But anti-warping effects don't stop pass. It explicitly says that in the description. If you read Detailed Report or Darkling Dragon of Myrrh, it says pass, it doesn't affect pass skills. So the fact that Celica can have this and just pass cheese through everything is kind of crazy. And I think you can kind of see it in the gameplay here before her skills show up. So there's Legendary Myrrh right there, and Celica just moves through. Let me see if I'm reading this right. Yeah, so the light blue, squares, the light blue tiles indicates you're warping, and she doesn't care really because Myrrh's range is within 4 spaces. Actually, maybe it's outside the range. I don't know, but either way, pass is really good to have in your special here for Celica because that's going to let her cheese like crazy. And, you're going to have to watch out for your team. I think the best thing really is to, if you really want to be protected from Celica, is just have a far save tank. But far save tanks and tanks or near and far save tanks aren't as good as they used to be because you have nukes like Celica who are going to hit really, really hard. So it's much harder to use an armor for tanking. That's why Omni tanking is so popular now with stuff like Emblem Mike, obviously. But yeah, pass is crazy. That's really, really good. And that's kind of some cheese, like I said. So last part, at start of turn, if special cooldown count is at maximum value, grant special cooldown count -1. So that's times pulse. So it's going to be really easy for her to trigger specials. Pretty much going to be pre-charged. And you do have stuff like Scowl, but she also has this special jumping in her weapon, so that can kind of counteract it a little bit. So that's amazing. So Warp Ragnarok is going to be really, really good. It's going to make Celica even better than she already is as a nuke. So Verge of Death is your A. This is basically Life and Death 5 or Life and Death 4, depending on how you want to look at it. This gives you attack speed +8, defense res -8, and neutralizes panic status or any kind of penalties to your attack and speed. So if you want to cripple her offensive stats, it's going to be really, really hard to do so. Pretty much impossible to do so with this skill. And then she comes with the new B skill, Resonance 4. This is going to be inheritable, looks like. So deals damage to unit as combat begins. So this is like how Celica usually works, where she, does damage to herself. Her first version wanted to do like Fury Desperate Ragnarok. Her first weapon, dealt her recoil damage. So, this is like, similar thing. So deals damage to unit as combat begins equal to 20% of X. X equals units max HP before entering battle -20. Okay, so max HP before entering battle means units max HP excluding HP increases. Okay, so it doesn't include stuff from blessings, legendary effects, mythic effects, bonus heroes, etc. Activates only when unit can attack in combat. Okay, so effects that reduce damage during combat do not apply. Will not reduce units HP below 0. So you can't kill yourself with this skill, obviously. And inflicts speed res -4 on the foe during combat. Unit deals damage equal to unit's HP at the start of combat minus your current. Hold up. Unit deals damage equal to unit's HP at the start of combat minus current HP times 2 during combat, maximum 12, minimum 6, excluding AoEs, and reduces the percentage of foes non-special reduced damage by X percentage skills. Skills by percentage equal to unit's HP at the start of combat minus current HP times 10 during combat, maximum 60, minimum 30. Okay, so she also gets DR halving, which is what I was kind of waiting for in her kits because she doesn't have any of that up to this point. So Resonance is a really interesting skill depending on your HP. So if I'm doing the math right, so let's say her HP is, we don't know her exact HP. Actually, did they show it in here? Yeah, they did. So she has 45. As you can see, she dealt, no, that might be from Veil. I don't know, but 45 HP is her max HP. So let me try to do the math here. I could be completely wrong because I do get things wrong in these videos. I'm not the best at math or reading fade descriptions sometimes, but yeah, 45 HP. Let's see, units HP start of combat minus current HP. So let's say she had 45 HP. Her current HP is 40. 45 minus 40 is 5. Times 2 equals 10. So yeah, okay, so maximum is 12. Okay, so you get 10 true damage, which is kind of a lot. That's a good amount of true damage. And then, of course, the DR halving. So that's pretty cool. It depends on your HP. So this is good for like Fury builds, I guess. But I mean, no, actually, you already deal yourself damage as combat begins. And if you take damage in combat, you survive a hit or two. That can also help Resonance. So Resonance is a really interesting skill. I could be wrong. I don't think it's going to be as universally useful as Lagoo's Friend 4. Maybe it's kind of a more niche skill, like maybe not even as good as not as good, but as common as Potent, because this is going to obviously be a ranged only skill or only a mage only skill as considered by the book. Shouldn't be allowed on bows or anything, but yeah, I don't think it's going to be as universally useful as Lagoo's Friend 4, but this is still a really cool option. It gives you that true damage and also DR halving depending on your HP, so that's pretty cool. Again, I could be misreading that skill or not really understanding it to the fullest, but still, that's what I understand from it. Infantry no follow 4, which I believe her ascended version also had, or she had infantry no follow 3 or something. So that makes sense because she does not have no follow up in her kit, just like Emblem Marth didn't have in his. I think this is the same thing Emblem Marth has, which gives you the warping, which is more warping, which honestly she doesn't really need, but no follow-up's good. And here's her emblem effect. So enhanced engage special, boost special damage by units max special cooldown count value times 4. Okay, so your max special cooldown count value is, so for her, Warp Ragnarok is 2, so times 4 is going to be 8. So she boosts her special damage by 8, which is a nice boost. It's nothing that crazy, but you know, that's a nice boost, and it doesn't include AoEs, thank goodness. Doesn't really need to be. And then for each foe within 5 spaces of unit can move to the nearest spaces that are within unit's range from that foe, unless spaces. So that means, so depending, I guess that means if you're a melee unit, then you can move within 1 space of the unit to attack them. If you're a ranged unit, then that means 2, I think. So 5 spaces, if for each foe within 5 spaces of unit, which is a large range, you can move to the nearest spaces that are within that range, which is crazy. That's going to be really good for Gale Force compositions and Gale Force teams, I imagine. And yeah, that's really good. Though I don't, that doesn't mean you can pass through them, right? Because it's not, you don't have pass. So if someone's in the way, you can't just go past them unless you're Celica, obviously. I think that's how it works. I could be wrong, but that's really good either way. Having that warping is really good, and you know, it can work like a Wings of Mercy. Essentially, you don't have to fall into range of HP. So it can warp near foes within 6 spaces and leaves for special, and your engaged partner can warp near foes as well. So really good support. Yeah, I'd say it's more useful than Ike's overall, because I mean, Ike's is, I guess it depends. Ike's is more defensive, obviously, having that true DR. But this is really, I think this is more useful, more on the level of like Marth's engage effect, lowering cooldown. So yeah, there she is against Loki. We can see her warping in action a little bit. Yeah, so there she is warping. That is insane movement, man. So yeah, we do have anti-warping, but the pass, there's no really anti-pass stuff, to my knowledge. Do Bulwark skills stop pass? I don't know. I have to look at Bulwark skills again, but either way, pass is some cheese, and Celica is going to be really strong. You know, even if she didn't have this, she'd be really good, but that's really going to make her special with the pass stuff. So here she is. There's going to show and demonstrate how engage effect works. You know, engaging her with Saline, that's very cute, because Saline does have Celica. That's when you meet them and engage. So yeah, Celica is going to be really good, and is a blue mage, and it's definitely going to help you against Emblem Mike, which she might be able to counter him, or at least, you know, check him, because Emblem Mike is at the peak of his powers right now with Breath of Life 4 coming out. I mean, there's units that could definitely take him out, but Breath of Life 4 has really made him even stronger, so Celica might be a good counter / check to him. So here are the rest of the heroes on the banner. We have my boy Medius, we have Xander, Legendary Xander, we have Embla, Legendary Veronica, we have Fomortis, Goto, who I've already plus 10, Hinoko is also plus 10, Attuned Ivy, Rosado, we have Ascended Merrick, my boy, we have Attuned Sita, my girl, who I also plus 10, if you guys saw my summoning video. So blue is stacked, just right off the bat, blue is huge. It's very good. It has Attuned Sita, who is the second best Omni tank in the game in my opinion, after Emblem Mike. I use her daily, she is so damn good. I made videos about it if you guys haven't seen it. Attuned Sita is amazing. So the fact that she's here and also has one of the best X skills with Guard Echo, and you can dupe those skills and just get a lot of good stuff. Because she's infantry, you can dupe stuff like Godlike Reflexes, Buffer 4, Spurn 4, Lagoose Friend even. So there's just so many potential, because she's infantry, for the duplication. And then you have also in the blue Attuned Ivy, who also, you know, you can dupe a good amount of skills as well. Not as much because she's a flyer, but you can still dupe a lot of good stuff. And she's one of the best flyers right now because she has Potent in her skill set. She has Potent in her weapon, I believe, which is really good and can make her deceptively fast and strong. So Ivy's very strong. I've definitely struggled against some Ivies. So yeah, blue is definitely the best color. We have green with Merrick, my boy, who is an underrated Mage Cavalier, but he doesn't stand out as much as like Attuned Sita in my opinion. But I mean, there's just a lot of cavalry threats and mages, so it's kind of hard for him to fit. But Sacred Wind, he's pretty unique though, despite that, because he can heal his whole team when Sacred Wind is triggered, and he has no guard in that. He hits pretty hard, so he's kind of like a cavalry version of his young version after his young version got refined. So young Merrick's pretty good. Rosado's amazing. Rosado's a really good axe flyer and also has Wyvern Rift, which is one of the best B slots you can use on a fast and bulky flyer, which there aren't too many like super fast bulky flyers that can really use it. Um, not Fallen Maria. Spring Maria is in the Hall of Forms right now, who uses that skill really, really well. There's a couple others, but yeah, Rosado is pretty much the best user of it next to Spring Maria. So Boyfriend Rift is really good, and he comes with Earth Wind Boost, which is very good. Who else is in green? And Legendary Xander. So he's kind of a dud. Legendary Xander's a bit older, and he's kind of waiting for a remix to refine. He does have, decent offenses for today. He can still put in work, but doesn't really have anything that's super unique. I guess his B skill is kind of unique. Chivalry is like, what is it? I think it's like DR based on his HP, which is kind of unique. So Xander's kind of a unique Axe Cavalier, but there are better ones in my opinion. And then colors, we have Metis and Goto. I feel like they've shared colors so many times because I've plus 10 both of them as an Arcanea fan. And I've gotten copies of them obviously. So Goto and Metis. Metis isn't as good as it used to be, but I mean, still being able to stop Bolt Tower cheese is really good. But obviously the metagame has shifted towards Omni tanking more so these days. So I guess Bolt Tower stuff like that isn't as relevant, but Metis can still like give you ploy support, and obviously Canto control is nice. So Metis is decent. I'd say he's better than Goto. Goto hasn't aged the best as a light mythic. He's kind of like a magical Brave Ike, but doesn't have any true DR. You can give him Lagoose Friend, which I'm considering giving mine. Lagoose Friend would make him a lot better, but still not the best light mythic, but he does have decent support, because he can stop AoE specials. That's pretty unique. There's no one else that can pretty much negate AoEs, reducing them by 80%. So that's pretty cool. And then we have Formortis. So Formortis has fallen off, which just makes me sad because Formortis, he's still pretty recent. Him and Goto released at the same time. And Formortis is just such a cool design. And he still can put in work, I guess, but not nearly as good because there's so much DR piercing and just threats that can just kill him. So it's a bit harder for Formortis to function, but he can still be an annoying tank if the foe doesn't have enough DR or whatever. Near and far save. I'd say near is probably better for him these days, but still he can work as a far saver. And then red has Embla, Veronica, and Legendary Hinoka. So those are pretty good units. Embla's not the best combat mythic, even though she's more supportive with Severance. Still, she wants to attack with her movement and everything as a beast, and she can do that, but not as good as she used to be. I feel like she's always kind of lacked in the offensive department a little bit. So she's lagging behind a little bit, but still, Severance can be useful. But again, Omni tanking is the wave now, so it's not as good as it once was when the meta was far save tanks and near save tanks. So yeah, a bit harder for Embla these days, but if you're merging her up, you can definitely get copies of her. And she's having a decent color share because Legendary Hinoka is one of the best legendary heroes still, because she has that amazing mobility, provides support with charge, special charges, and can be good against units that are not faster than her because she can just stop counterattacks and just be a good unit with Kanto. So I use Hinoka as someone who accidentally plus 10 her. Hinoka is really good and useful. And then Legendary Veronica, who is kind of fallen off a little bit thanks to the speed creep, but still she can be annoying. She also has Fire Sweep as well, depending on the foes, like the the people next to the foes that you're attacking. So Fire Sweep can also be annoying. But yeah, Veronica's solid. I say Hinoka's a little bit better than her, but they're both similar red nukes. And that's pretty much the banner. So blue is definitely the best color. Green has one dud with Xander a little bit, but Merrick and Rosado very, very good. Colorless is like probably the worst color here, I'm gonna be honest, I think. So blue would be the best, green second best, red third, and then colorless is probably the worst in my opinion. But it's not terrible. No one here is like the super old legendary something. But I guess they've all moved to remix banners at this point. But yeah, just keep in mind we are having a summer banner, second summer banner, which is something I'm scared of because I am probably going to summon on this. And I do want Celica. I'd love to have a copy of Celica or two, but I would love to get more copies of Attuned Seed. And you're probably thinking, why would you want to get more of her when you already plus 10 her? Yes, I did already plus 10 her, but I have a good amount of orbs saved up right now, and I want to get more copies because I want to dupe more skills. It's unfortunate that she released before Breath of Life and Lagoose Friend 4 released, because I would have loved to dupe those skills. But if I can get another copy or two, I can dupe those and get even more value for some of my builds I'm trying to use. And Ivy also, I only have one Ivy, so getting another one would be cool. 4 skill duplication as well. But yeah, that is the video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed listening to me ramble as usual. Good luck if you are summoning on this Emblem Hero banner for Celica. And yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed. Please stay safe out there. Peace out.